Hey, friends. If you've been loving the conversations we have here on the All in My Head podcast, and you're looking for a way to ground your thoughts, reflect more deeply, or just make space for yourself in the chaos, I've created something for you. My very own journals are now available on Amazon. Whether it's the gratitude journal to help you focus on the good, especially on the hard days, or the Mind Unwind Journal, a space to release, reset, and realign. These were made with you in mind, my thoughtful, deep feeling, always reflecting listeners. Just head to Amazon and search Gratitude, Mind Unwind Journal, or my name, Jenny Jimenez-Sullivan, or check the link in the show notes to grab your copy. It's simple, intentional, and ready to meet you wherever you are.
Please, allow me to show you something.
Welcome back to the All in My Head podcast. I am Jenny and I am your host, and you have landed here today for part 2 of episode 21, Anchored No More, Why Derrion Henderson Chose Change. Let's jump back into the conversation with Derrion. So what do you think, like that being said, what do you think kind of happened and why are we not letting these great journalists be seen in these markets? Why is it a money thing?
Budgets,
Yeah.
cost cutting
Yeah.
is strictly cost cutting, and the people and everyone, even within the industry, is staying stagnant, and not stagnant in a bad way. I'll be honest with you. Like people who are, but people who are in these positions who are making money, who's been there for a while, granted, right?
Right.
They're staying in their position. Like the actual good stations to work at in the news business right now, when a new position opens up, they already know who they're going to be hiring.
They already know. Yeah. Yeah.
They already know, right?
Yep.
So all the stations who are actually hiring right now ain't paying. It's just that simple, right? So it's like you're almost like behind this curveball and you're waiting for something to open up. But the thing about the news industry is that it's like, of course, everyone else has like these workplace, you can't hire based off of race or based off of gender, but like that's not explicitly done in TV, but that's explicitly done in TV. Right. That's what differs it from everything else. At the end of the day, a male anchor left this show. Who they're going to be looking for? Another male anchor. Now they may have double female. That is a possibility sometimes in some markets. Not a lot, but in some of them they do have double male. But at the end of the day, like that's what they're looking for. So and like a lot of instances for me, you just get tired of it, and it's just like there's something more for me out here, and I have to go looking for it because it's not just going to just show up at my front door. I have to go out. I have to go seek it, and a part of me being able to walk away from TV is just like I told you before, kind of like that acting again. Like I didn't grow up wanting to do this, right? So when something, and just like when I was in high school, when I realized that something isn't working for me in the way that I wanted to work for me, I am more than willing to leave. Right. You're like, I have to do something different. I got to do something. Right. And that's it. And I'm not one to sit around. Like once I realized, and I wasn't complaining about, I was complaining about stuff that was going on at the station because I was irritated. I wasn't just irritated, but it wasn't, what I had to realize was it was like I was getting irritated by, like I told you, I'm not one to complain, and I'm also not one to like verbally express my frustrations. So when I found myself within the last 6 months of working in TV, expressively showing my displeasure and speaking my displeasure for just certain things, I realized I'm like, I have to go. Right. Because you're like, it's not working. I'm becoming of myself. Right. And I know that the energy that you give out into this world is what you get back. Absolutely. And I wasn't being nasty by any means, but still you speak negativity
Right.
or you complain about stuff overly, if you go, what's going to happen? God and the universe or whoever is going to give you
Yes.
things to complain
It's
about.
going to give
You
it
want to
right back to
complain?
you.
Here it is. Then come, and you're going to keep complaining. You're going to
That's right.
find stuff to complain about. And
That's right.
I just didn't like being in that space.
And I think I'm that firm believer in that as well. Like I try to speak as positively as possible. And even in a rough situation, I try, and I wasn't always that person, but I try now to look, I'm like, we don't know what that person's going through. I don't know what that situation is for them. So I'm trying to be more concerted of that. But I also know, like, if there's these days or these moments or these times where I'm putting that out there, I know that's what's coming back to me. So I'm
Yep.
like, nope, not doing it. I'm just gonna, even if that means I have to stay in today because my mouth is gonna get reckless out there in the world, then I'm gonna stay in and be calm.
Yeah.
But did you find any grief or sadness kind of leaving that behind in that more mainstream way? Or were you more excited of what's to come?
Yeah, I'll be honest to say that I definitely had grief leaving
Mm-hmm.
because it's everything I've known for the last 10 years of my life.
Right.
So naturally, I weeped my last day verbally. Like, I mean, you can look at the last tape, like it's still on there. Like, and that wasn't, I couldn't even formulate the words because I knew what that meant and what that last moment meant for me, because I knew that there wasn't an inkling in my body that wanted to come back after I had left that.
Right.
And the biggest thing about Myrtle Beach was I was treated so well.
Right.
I was paid what my worth was.
Right.
That I didn't want to go somewhere else and not get that and not know what that was like. Anything I asked for in Myrtle Beach, I got. And I'm like, I refuse. Right? Why would I live my best Home Alone life? You know, my best Lost in New York life. You know, to then go and be like little what's her name? Like, no offense, but like you know what I'm saying, like a little orphan or whatever. Like, I'm not going to do that, right? And then I'm gotta go over here and mop floors with this news station and climb hills. And I'm not basing it off of what I think is going on in these other places. I'm basing it off of what my friends are telling me are going on at their own stations. And it's like, ooh, that just sounds horrible. I would hate to deal with that. But yeah, I had so much grief leaving. You know, I cried on TV, and then when we went back to our desk, I cried even more. You know, because I'm like, this is just. It was unreal for me that I finally got to that point, and it wasn't because it was like finally you're here, like rejoice in this moment. It was like finally you're here. This is it.
Right.
You know, and
it's almost that reality of like, wow, this is happening now. Right.
This is happening. Like, I did it, and this is actually what is going on, and not knowing what is next, even in this moment.
Right.
I'm saying I'm finna do this. I'm saying that I'm about to leave, and you ask me, okay, so what you about to do come Monday? And I don't know. So I had a ton of grief for it. I had a ton of grief also humbly for what I knew I brought to the table and what that would mean to young journalists. Because to be honest with you, and I won't say any names for this, but you know, not all anchors are giving back to these young people.
No.
And not all of them have something to give back to them. That's clear on that too.
Right.
They either they don't have anything to give back because they were never really good at their job anyway, but now they're in a position where they can sit and read a teleprompter and that's all they can do, or like they just choose not to. Right. You know? And I've never been one to do that. I've never been one to say I didn't like something about a reporter and then I'll just keep it between me and whoever I talk to about that problem. I was always one to be like, hey, what was that? Right. And people need that. And what's happening in news now is that there's no one that's in it. I'm saying there's no one that's in it, but especially smaller markets where people are still learning. There's not a lot of people that's in it that is in a position to actually train them because they're hiring so young. Like the anchors are known to be the ones to lay the foundation for these young people. And all I ever wanted to be was who Kathy Sweeney was to me in my first market. She laid the foundation for me. And that's not happening in a lot of these newsrooms. And that's why a lot of these journalists are getting in, these young journalists right out of college, getting in, accepting these horrible salaries, and
not having any experience, it shows.
And they're staying there for less than 6 months.
Right.
Because the honeymoon then leaves.
That's
now
right.
You got me doing this job. Now you got all these expectations. And now I'm mad. Once again, going back to being mad. Now I'm mad. And now I can't lean on my paycheck to be happy because you ain't paying me nothing.
Exactly.
So I'm leaving.
Exactly.
You know? And we're just seeing it so much, which then led over to programs that I've started, which I guess we'll probably get to soon. But like,
yes. No, definitely. I think that is like kind of the perfect segue to kind of talk about, well, let's first talk about, did people understand your decision? Like, especially those people in like the industry or that you worked with every day, did they understand why you were making this decision? No.
Not at all.
No.
Not at all. And then that's why you have that faith to lean on. That's where God comes into place.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's where knowing yourself comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, you know, I've always been in this place where I'm going to do what's right for me.
Mm-hmm.
Jenny, people didn't understand why I left St. Louis.
Right.
I was born and raised in St. Louis.
So people are like, where are you going?
Literally.
Like, stay here.
Like,
right.
Why are you leaving? And it is not a seamless trajectory in your career to go from a St. Louis to a Myrtle Beach. You just don't do that.
Right.
You just don't do that. Like, that's just not what people in the industry do. But I am always one to do whatever makes me happy. I'm going to do that.
And I think also what God has put on your heart or whatever you believe in. I had that same pushback when I left. I was in a district for 19 years and people are like, do your 20 years, get that pension, da-da-da-da. And I'm like, I'm here preaching every day to my high school students, go live your dream, whatever that is. Your parent might be saying, go to college. Is that what you want? Like, go follow your dreams. And I would have so many kids coming back or writing me and saying, I did this because you told me go follow your dream. And I'm sitting here going, I'm not doing it though. I'm not doing it. I'm staying in Connecticut because that's where I was born and raised, and I'm not doing a thing. And it was my son who was in college here at Coastal who was like, what are you waiting for? You and Dad said you wanted to move to the beach and live your best lives doing the things that you wanted to do. Do it. Who cares what everybody else says? And then when you grieve it, you know, like visibly to people are like, well, this is what you chose. And I'm like, I can still be sad for the things that I'm leaving behind by also being excited for the things that I'm not even sure what it is yet, but I'm going towards. So I get that. I get that.
And you have to realize at the end of the day is that who's sleeping in your bed?
That's it. Right.
You have to sit in your own thoughts. You have to sit in your own decisions. No one was feeding me besides me. No one pays my rent besides me. No one pays my car note, my insurance besides me. Me, right? So why am I bringing you into my decisions?
Absolutely.
Like, this doesn't make sense. And I've never been one to move in a way that gave someone else courtesy over my life. I'm just not doing it. Other people can do it, and I sympathize and I weep for them. Yeah. Because to me, that looks exhausting.
It is exhausting. I'm a reformed people pleaser. Yeah. I'm a person who, well, also being raised in a Latino family, Latino Catholic, a lot of that guilt, like you should do this, you should, and if you kind of give that pushback, it's seen as disrespectful. What I have learned is that I'm my own person. And maybe it took me 45 years to figure that out because I was busy raising my own kids. I was busy teaching in this district. I was busy making everybody else happy, but it is exhausting. Yeah. And at the end of the day, like you said, I'm the one who has to be happy. And in this season of my life, I have never been happier. Like, I am happy doing the things I'm doing. People are like, well, how do you make money with that? How do you do that? What? Mind your business. I pay my bills. Like, I'm happy and I'm doing what I love. And I'm making things happen every day. I'm meeting people and new opportunities are coming to me. Why? Because I am open to it and I'm following my passion, my heart, and what I believe God has placed on my heart to be.
And you know why they have so many questions, and it's because, you know, people project.
Absolutely.
They want to see what's going to happen.
Right.
And it's not like they want to see what's going to happen because they want to do it or they're going to have the courage to do it. They're just intrigued by someone who decides actually to just go and do it, you know,
and not do the safe thing.
And not just play it safe. I mean, I had a great salary in Myrtle Beach. I don't make half of what I was making there, to be quite honest with you.
Right. But you will.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Yes, like I absolutely will, and I would do it in a way that works for me because I can't be married to some salary, right? Then I'm going to sit here and just and that's the thing too. It's like people do become so comfortable in these positions where you're making decent money, but I wasn't making enough money to buy a home in Myrtle Beach. Like, right? Like, what are we talking about? I mean, I could have bought a home, a townhome maybe, or something of that nature, but I was not making enough money to then go buy the home that I want.
Exactly.
Whatever that looks like, you know what I mean? So, and when I realized that, it's like, so I'm deciding to stick around for a salary that's not even fulfilling me for what I want.
Right.
What am I doing? What am I doing? You know, and that led to a lot of even the decision making that I'm so happy that I did not make. Even at the end of last year, I was about to go buy a Tesla at a point in time because I had paid off my car, my Camaro, my dream car. I had paid that off, and now that's all mine. And I was like, you know, I want to get an electric car. I was about to go get a Tesla. Then I literally had a Cadillac Lyric, which is another electric car, for like a whole day. And like something told me when I went back to like start the paperwork, I'm like, let me think about it. I'm about to go out of town. I'm going to think about it when I get back. And it never happened. Thank God it didn't, because I wouldn't have made the decision I made. I would still be on TV in Myrtle Beach. Right. Why? Because I needed that money to pay for that dang on car.
Right. Yeah, you still would have been here doing the same thing, expecting a different result.
How much those decisions then play a factor into what you can do, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, I was like, I need the least amount of expenses as possible, right? Because if I'm going to do this, then I need to be able to have a bit of financial freedom within all of this,
right?
And not, I mean, of course, I got to work up to get to a level because, of course, I need a roof over my head. Right. But if I don't have to pay some astronomical amount for a car note, which is crazy nowadays.
Which is crazy now.
Average is like $700 or something. Crazy. And then insurance is like another, might be like $250, $300 on that car. Right. So you're looking at roughly $1,000 a month on that particular car. It's like, why, when that can be in your pocket doing something that you love and working for yourself or working towards what you want to get to. So that's what I chose. And I don't regret it, not one bit. And God has been with me every step of the way.
And that's the thing. I think that's what I'm constantly telling people is like, I've never looked back and said, I wish I didn't move. I wish I didn't start doing something different. It's been a journey, and it's been this whole 5 years, 6 years in getting into it, but I've never been happier, and I've never looked back and said, I wish I made a different decision. And so I'm proud of you for that, because again, people are going to tell you what they want you to do, right? They are for their own benefit, really. But what does this new path look like for you? Because you're still doing media, you're still in the media, but in a very different way. And what does it look like? Tell us about it.
What does it look like? Listen, it is a road that, imagine a highway, right? Mm-hmm. And they just crumbled up all the concrete on it, and now it's rocky. Mm-hmm. And it's that rocky where we hate driving on it, right? It's just a bunch of light, and it's going for miles, but the trucks are at the front, right? Right, and the road is shut down, and you can't get on the highway, and it's at night.
Can't get on
night, right? It's at night where it's not a lot of drivers around,
right?
And they're starting the work to pave the road, and then the concrete is mixing. That's what it looks like right now. Right. That's the picture of it. Is that right now it is under construction as I fine tune exactly what that looks like. Right. And it's just like I talked to my cousin recently. It's like I'm at a very pivotal point. Right. Where this can go really, really, really good or really, really, really good. because that's the only two options available.
Exactly.
Right?
You have to say that. It's going one of two ways, really good or really, really good.
Like that's it.
That's right.
And that's all I'm giving myself. So, as of right now, it's just trying new things, and it's trying new things because I'm able to do that. It's starting a podcast.
Right.
Literally when I moved up here to Charlotte, because people were literally on my behind, like, okay, you don't want to do news no more. I understand. I get it. Cool. Fine. We'll listen.
What are we gonna do?
You told me why not. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But I still want to hear your voice. Do not lose the voice. That's something that my little brother, actually, I told my mom. I went home in February, like right after I left WNBF. For my best friends, he was inaugurated into 100 Black Men as the president. So I went home for that, which was great because I really needed to just go home and hug people, even in that moment, in the space of I don't know. And I remember getting to St. Louis, and earlier that week, I was on the phone with my mom, and I told my mom, I'm like, I don't know what I want to do in my life, like right now, but I'm like, I just don't want to lose my voice. And I got home. My little brother and my cousins were at my mom's home, and we were just sitting there talking, and my cousin just wasn't believing that I was getting out of news. Right. And my little brother, we was just silent for a little moment, and my little brother just looked at me, and he was just like, well, just don't lose your voice.
That's it.
Just don't lose your voice. And I literally I was stuck in that moment. I was stuck in that moment. I remember looking at my mom too. And then even my barber, Melvin, in Conway, like, he got into me too, where he just called me. He was like, so what we doing? I'm like, I'm figuring it out. I'm like, I'm probably gonna get my insurance licenses, because, like, why not? He was like, yeah, that sounds good, but, like, I need you still doing what you're doing. Like, in some type of capacity, in some type of way.
Absolutely.
And like, hi, he was like, no, I need you doing that right now. Like, I'm like, oh, I'm like, give me a couple months, I'll figure it out. And it's like, no, I need you working on that, like, currently. Like, whatever you got going on, like, it's cool, but, like, I need you working on that currently as well. So they really lit the fire under me. So I moved up here to Charlotte at the beginning of March, started my podcast at the end of April. So that's going well. I really enjoy doing that, still being in front of the camera, still being on the mic. Tried to do it on my own, buy my own cameras and everything, invested into that. That ended up being horrible. And that's the beauty of working on your own, right? Like, you can reinvent it, go down the road, you're going to not like it, and you're going to turn around. That's pretty much what that was. But now I found in Charlotte, they have these podcast space. So I literally just booked it, and you can actually go check out the Derrion LH show, because you can see it right now. Yeah, we're on a whole new set. So that's really exciting. Just being on a whole new set and just being able to, and that is actually going to help me, right? I was thinking having my own cameras and doing all of this was going to be it. Right. And now I literally have a space that I can just rent it out for a few hours, go in and press record, and then bam, like, I have the material. So I love that. So I'm doing that. I've also started a 4-week training sessions for TV news stations. That's who I'm pitching the idea to. It's called the Storytelling Reset. And within that, it goes back to the conversation we were having before. A lot of times these young journalists just recently graduated or just still young within their career, they go into these newsrooms, they get a week crash course, and they send them out to go do the job, and they still don't know what they need to be doing.
They're not ready, right?
They're not ready whatsoever. And then they go, and like I said, the honeymoon is over with. They're getting tired. Burnout is quick. And then they're leaving their stations within the 6 months of their 2-year contract. And some of them are just being able to leave, and others have to then pay their way out, right?
Exactly.
And so you're literally going into debt, just trying to leave a job.
Just trying to leave your job.
Trying to leave a job. So I'm like, and the thing about it is too, like I said, I'm working within the insurance world because it is lucrative.
Sure.
And it definitely brings.
Listen, it's always good to have your hands in on a few things.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but one thing that I learned with being in that world is that we have intentional trainings on Tuesday and Thursday. Very intentional. And the stuff that I learn on these calls that is for 1 hour, I'm literally getting off the call, putting it into effect, and it's working.
Right.
So in my mind, I'm like, why isn't this being done in newsrooms?
Exactly.
So I just mirrored it. Like, I'm not acting like I'm being innovative within that. Like, that's literally what I mirrored is the same program that these folks in this insurance world are doing, and it's working, into a news world that I know is not doing it at all.
Exactly.
So just trying to figure that out, and just, pitch that, like I said, to newsrooms who are budget strapped, because at the end of the day, it goes back to what I was saying before, I'm going to get my worth. I'm not just going to be doing this just to do it and just trying to get a discount on it. But, like at the same time, your staff needs this, period.
Right. And if they want to keep people around, and for us as people who consume the media, we want to see those people there every day. We want to see the same person. We don't want to every third Thursday, it's a different person, because that's the climate where people are leaving that job. So
and you want good stories.
And that's the pitch, isn't it? Like, you're going to save money over the long haul if you hire Derrion to give this training so you can retain your people. And then we're not
tried, tested, and true. It's tried, tested, and true. Like, I literally was on the phone with my little cousin, and he was having issues. He's a news reporter. He also does sports as well. And he called me and he was like, "Cuz, I'm just having a hard time just meeting my deadline." He was like, I just get into these writing, blocks where I just can't write. I can't formulate the words. And I gave him, I'm like, listen, this is your blanket script. Okay. Every script you write, and I still myself, now, of course, some of the stories I've done have not, when it's more long form. But when we're talking about every, like a day turn, I use this template. And I told him the template. He wrote it down. I sent it over to him, actually, I think in a note. And he's been making his deadline. He was like, that helped me tremendously, right? So all I'm doing is taking stuff that I know that works and giving it to these young kids.
So that they can put it into practice.
Is to appreciate that, understand that you need it. So I'm doing that while also, if anyone's listening and you need with your voicing, speech writing, recently helped one of my fraternity brothers and also / client now. He had a podcast interview and he just needed help figuring out just what some of his answers was going to be. So we literally went through it. And I'm like, you need to lean on emotion. A lot of people think, when they're in these certain podcasts that they need to just kind of just up themselves and talk about themselves. No, you need to lean on emotion and put stuff in perspective, because you're listening to, like you were saying, a worldwide audience. So you need to be able to really speak to everyone and give them that perspective while also getting your point across. So
and being
I do a
personable.
lot of consulting too. So
and being personable. And I think that's a big thing. I think that was a big takeaway for me, kind of watching you on the news. It was like, we felt like you were somebody that we could go hang out with, but also you just delivered the news so well. And even if it was something that was and I'm just going to say, even if it was shitty news, that was sad, that was heartbreaking, like, we felt it because you were emoting that. And that's not what we see all the time on the news. We don't see people who have that heart and soul for it. So to be able to learn from one of the best, I'm going to say it.
Thank you.
I would say, people, get it together. If you need that service, Derrion is offering that service. So please seek it out. And on that note, before we leave, I just want to touch base as well. You were just nominated for 3 Emmys. And you just came off the red carpet, right? You're fresh off the red carpet. So can you just briefly talk about those nominations and kind of what they were for? Because I think these stories it's not just those everyday morning breaking news, this is what's happening. These are some in-depth stories that you were talking about.
I mean, so the 3 nominations came from, one was a newscast. So it was I forgot what storm it was for, but it was a newscast with a bunch of us. So it's part of like my anchoring and my curriculum.
Always a storm here.
So we got nominated for that for his newscast, and the other 2 was for my investigative work. I got nominated in the business category for Billionaire Broke Girls. It was a 30-minute special. What's crazy is, like, when I literally, one of my coworkers did a special for Christmas of 2023. And I watched it. I'm like, oh, this is cool. And then, no shade or anything. I was like, oh, this is great. And then, no shade.
Just talking the truth.
I'm just being honest. I was like, oh,
Just
that's great.
being honest. We're honest people. That's all.
Like, it's cute, you know?
Yeah.
And then I was like, I'm going to do a 30-minute special. Like, that'll be cool.
Yeah.
Mind you, like, I'm like, I think Black History Month had passed because normally I always did the Black History Month, like the whole thing, everything was from the names to the colors to the music we use to the actual idea. I just did everything. So Black History Month was already over, and I was like, dang, I really don't like. I'm like, maybe next year what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a 30-minute special for Black History Month and just do it that way.
Right.
And then next thing you know, the story landed in my lap. That was actually out of Charlotte. And I ain't going too deep into like how I knew the young lady who was the alleged scammer.
Right.
But she was a friend of a friend. And I always kind of had my eye on her just from things that I knew.
Right.
And then next thing you know, she had posted on social media. She was trying to bring, for folks in Myrtle Beach who are listening, y'all know about Atlantic Beach, was a historically Black part of the beach, the Grand Strand, that only Black people could go to during segregation. So she was talking about bringing electric car charging station and a skating rink to Atlantic Beach. But the thing about it was she was trying to crowdfund it. And one thing I know for sure, I mean, I'm an entrepreneur.
Right.
I'm not a business owner.
Right.
That type of entrepreneur. But one thing I know for sure is you can't crowdfund $1 million business. Like, you can maybe crowdfund that right at the end, like get us over the hump, you know, like if you could help to like get us open to get us going. Maybe crowdfund that, maybe the last $20, $30, $40, $50,000 maybe. You're not crowdfunding $1 million project from scratch. From scratch. You're talking about you have no money to put up. You're just asking people for money, and then you're just going to be the business owner. Like,
wild.
Is this not a conglomerate? Like, what's going on? Anyway, but she was doing that, and the next thing you know, she had posted like, "Hey, that's on pause because of false allegations." Like,
interesting.
She put that on Instagram. So of course, as soon as I saw it on Instagram, where did I go to? Facebook. I went to Facebook because that's where all the drama is, right? So I went to Facebook. I searched the name and just searched whatever I did, journalist or whatever. And damn, the whole world just opened up. And I reached out to these ladies who was telling me all these stories about how they invested into this marijuana, like supposed to be like plant that they was going to be doing in Charlotte, and they was going to have a restaurant connected to it, and they were supposed to. It was these groups called the Billionaire Boat Girls.
Yes.
They were supposed to own boats and tiny homes and all this types of stuff. And they never saw any of it come to fruition. So I was literally going to give that story to Charlotte. I was like, oh, this is a Charlotte story. The ladies out of Charlotte. And I'm like, wait a minute. No, this is the Myrtle Beach story.
Yeah, that's your story. Right.
Because the lady at the center of it all, whose name is on everything, literally lives in Myrtle Beach and actually tried to do the same thing with this whole Atlantic Beach situation.
Yes.
Like what Atlantic Beach was, what she was doing with that, I'm like, that literally mirrors exactly what just happened in Charlotte.
The same exact.
They ran you out of Charlotte and you came down here to do the same thing in our community. So I'm like, I have to do this. So I did it. Ironically, she came and talked to me. That was just surprising.
I was kind of shocked she came.
I was shocked too. And I was there at the moment. And she sat down with me for a whole hour.
She did.
And talked and just ran her mouth. And afterwards, and the things that she did after the story aired and even leading up to the story, to be like, girl, like, you came and talked to me. So what are you talking about? Like,
right, exactly.
You have a whole hour worth of you running your mouth. So how are you sitting there acting like I conned you or something? I gave you an address and you came to the address and you sat down.
You didn't have
with a camera in front of you, with a mic on.
Knowing.
And because in that moment you actually felt like, okay, I can maybe wiggle my way out of it. I can talk my way out of it.
Right, because that's what she's probably done for so long.
That's what narcissists do. So she so that was nominated for business, and that story was hell and high water to get over. Like literally, like I was arguing. I'll be honest, arguing with our lawyers WMBF's lawyers,
I believe it. Yeah.
which is the company's lawyers. I was told that story wasn't a story. I was told that they didn't understand why we were even airing that story. I was told that we had never done a 30-minute investigative special before, so we shouldn't do this one.
It was time.
Yeah. Yeah, I was told
Yeah.
so many. I've never been so. It was also talk about knowing it was time to go. That was a part of being time to go.
Right.
Like, it's like, okay, if I'm not able to do my job,
right,
I gotta go. And it's like, what do you mean this isn't important? I'm like, we found out a lady was in Charlotte scamming, got ran out of the city, and then she brought her behind down here and allegedly tried to do it again. I'm like, it is our journalistic duty.
Absolutely.
To tell the story. And we don't, and she's literally crowdfunding people who watch our news.
Right.
We don't tell them that they are allegedly being scammed. We are doing our community a disservice.
Absolutely, because she's going to do it again. And it was crazy because when my husband and I watched it, we were in the throes of going through our own situation here with someone who had stole money from this group of women for this retreat that we were supposed to go to. And my husband was like, this is the same story, except she used the money for her. Well, I'm sure this woman used the money for herself too, but she blatantly turned it around on us. Like, I had all these medical situations going on and I needed the money. And it's like 20 something $1,000 that everyone was out of. And the cops don't want to hear about it. It's like, well, you guys signed up for a retreat and you didn't get the retreat. So you'll have to go after her privately. You'll have to sue her. You'll have to do all these things. And we're going, and then come to find out. So I did my own investigative reporting because I said, I can be Derrion Henderson in a very small way. And I'm going to start finding people online, and come to find out this woman was doing the same thing in a Charleston area. And then she moved from there and did it in another area. And she was doing the same scam in a different way. So had you had not brought these things to light, there would have been more victims of this same scam that she was doing.
Exactly.
So to me, that is investigative reporting.
After that, which brought so many, we did another story about the same thing of the vacation scams, that landed in my lap literally right after that story aired. Like, that's happened to us. Like, it just
it opens up a whole,
And then even the other lady who was one of the alleged scammers, we sent the story into Minnesota because she was doing it up in Minnesota. So it was just so crazy. So for me, I felt so vindicated in that moment to be nominated for those, and to not only be nominated for those two awards, the Investigative Reporter Award and for the business. I knew it was an uphill battle. I'm not gonna lie.
Right.
Going into the Emmy Awards, I honestly was not confident about it. I'll be honest with you. Like, I kind of knew they weren't. I wasn't going to win. I'll be honest with you, because the region, the Southeast region of the Emmy Awards is one of the hardest regions, I believe.
Right.
Because Atlanta takes home pretty much the whole award.
A lot. Yeah.
All of them, honestly. So it's just a huge uphill battle, honestly.
Right.
And I knew the business category is always a very hard category because there's a lot of investigative work within that category. I knew that was hard. And then for the investigative reporter side of it, now, I always thought it was cheesy just to say, like, oh, it's like the nomination is a blessing. It is.
Right.
But I feel as if that's just such a loser thing to say. So,
just being nominated was a word in itself.
Nominated is just an honor. Like, that just sounds like such a loser. So, like, it's true, but like, it just sounds like something.
No, I get it.
Says. Anyway, so that one I can actually say, like, with sincerity, that it was so wonderful just being nominated, because
it was vindicating.
The other guy in that category, his name is Brendan Keefe out of Atlanta. I admire his work. He does amazing work. He takes home at least 5 to 10 Emmys per award ceremony.
Wow.
He does amazing work though. He shoots it all himself. He edits it all. He does amazing work out of Atlanta. I will give him that. They release a list that shows who submitted into what category. So when they released the list, only he and I submitted into the category. I guess people in Atlanta, other reporters, investigative reporters, like, I'm not wasting my money submitting into that category because he's going to win it. But WNBA paid for it, so I submitted into it.
Right.
So it was just me and him. I'm like, listen, I got a 50-50 chance of even being nominated for this situation.
Right.
So I'm like, I'll be honored literally in this situation even to be nominated.
Absolutely.
So when the nominations came out and it said I was nominated for that category, for me, that was enough.
Right. I mean, very vindicating. Yeah. And it was so well done. And again, it just kind of makes you think like, wow, there's so much of this going on and we're only hearing a snippet of kind of what's going on in the world in these ways.
And shout out to my team too, by the way, like, right, real quick, since I couldn't say it at the end.
So well done.
Shout out to my team, Dana, Derek, George, Hunter. Like, they did an amazing job too, like really bringing my vision to light, honestly, because like, you know, I had a lot of stories, and I'll try to be quick with it. A lot of stories that we do in news, like, of course, you don't start writing it until afterwards. Right. That story, which is great. I wrote that entire story. The first story that you'll look at on the actual special, I wrote that first story before we even shot the interviews with the ladies. Wow. I had already wrote it. Right. Because I had talked to them enough. I knew what the story was. Right. And it was just so much that I'm like, what am I doing? I'm like, I don't know how do I even start to explain what this story is to my news director? I'm like, I just got to write it. Yeah. And then I can present it and be like, then I can present it based off of what I wrote. Because this has to make sense. Because if I tell you everything that they just told me, it's like, okay, so how are you going to put that into a story? Exactly. So for me to like, which sometimes we pre-write stories like when it's like people are going to be at the city council meeting and they're going to be mad. Okay, I already know what the story's about. I know people are going to be mad. I can pre-write that story and then just put the sound bites where they're supposed to be. Yeah. Pre-writing a 30-minute special was crazy. But but you know what? It worked. No, that's some talent. Like, you know what I mean? So like, that's what I'm saying. It worked. A pat on the back for that. Yeah, it worked, and they were able to kind of execute your vision. So that's like that is props to you. And even visually too, because like even with the cartoons and stuff. Like, I came up with that like again before I even interviewed them, and I went to Dana too, and she was just like. She was like, Derrion, I've never done animation before. And I was like, well, I guess we're going to learn, huh? But like, we're going to learn today. But I can say that because we had such an amazing relationship. Like, I'm all about relationships. Like you said, who I am on TV is who I am in person. So I would literally go into our marketing office and just sit on their couch and just talk to them. Yeah. And I do that because I know I lean on people. Right. I know I lean on people. And a lot of them have done a lot of work for me, even in my own solo capacity, even after I left WNBF. My logo came from Dana. When it came to like setting up like my actual podcast, George helped me out with that, who did the special. Yeah. My actual promo starting off like with the podcast, not Dustin, but Hunter put that together. So, and I'm able to go back and ask these people for things and pay them because I'm not just asking without paying. That's right. But they're willing to do it. They're willing to still do it in a way that I like it because they enjoyed that camaraderie. Right, and you made that connection. You made that connection with them and built that relationship. Shout out to them because that's a story that could have been so boring visually. Yes. Yeah. And I think we told it in such a beautiful, visual way. So absolutely. I was hoping for like a tie and like two of us could have won in the business category, but it just wasn't in the cards. But I'll be honest, like the first and now only Emmy that I've won, that Emmy win was so special. My mom was there. All three of my best friends were there, and the actual family that I told the story on was there to accept that award. So if I never win another Emmy again, people never get those type of wins, especially as your first win. Right. A lot of them just kind of win with their coworkers, but to have all those people there with me in that moment, sitting at the table, cheering me on, I could never win another one and I'll be okay. So, Well, we're not going to put that out there because I feel and we talked about this, right? We're only manifesting.
We're manifesting, though. We're manifesting more awards and more accolades because you deserve it.
Yeah, thank you.
I deserve some awards. We're doing stuff. Like, we're busy in our own respective industries. So, we're definitely, we know this isn't the last of hearing from you. So we have the Derrion LH show. So it's up there now. Go check it out on YouTube. Where else can they find you?
Yes, you can find it on YouTube. You can find it on Apple Podcasts, also Spotify as well. You can go to visit my website, www.derrionhenderson.com. All my information is there. A link to my podcast, link to if you want to buy my book, that's on there as well.
That's right.
If you look at my portfolio, you're like, I just want to check out his work and see what he's about. Like, I kind of like hearing about him. You can go to my portfolio, see some of the work I've done over the years. The Billionaire Broke Girls is down there as well.
Check that out.
And I have I have actual what those stories were actually nominated for and what they won all listed there as well. So some of my favorite stories and some of my favorite podcasts that was during my news time are also on my portfolio as well. So everything is at www.derrionhenderson.com.
Yes. So please go check that out. Like I said to you, this is a very, very talented human being who is going to do more amazing things in his own way in the media world. So we can't wait to see that. I'm following along. I'm shouting you out.
And you have to come to Charlotte. Like, listen,
I need to get to Charlotte. I just said that to my husband. I was like, I got to get out. Like, I got to go. Like,
Charlotte, as we call it. So
that's what I'm hearing. I need to get to Charlotte. I've been to Hotlanta, so now it's time to come to Charlotte. So I'm definitely putting that on my to-do list to come see you there. But yes, I just want to thank you for taking time out because I know you've got stuff going on and you're busy. Leo keeps you busy. That's his big furry baby, his dog baby. But also just want to say, if you are looking for someone to help with speech writing, with what else are we doing? I want to just shout that out as well.
Yeah, speech writing, if you need help with your voicing, if you need help with presentations and delivery, if you just need someone to talk to. Like, I'm here literally just honestly for everything. If you need a workshop done at like your business and you just want to help just be able to communicate more with like your customers, or if you're in the insurance industry, honestly as well, you need help, with someone teaching them just how to talk to people and to be more compassionate. If you want to help with your writing, I'm literally here for everything. If you just need advice, like, I love just sitting and talking to people, as you can tell.
Absolutely.
And just trying to be a beacon of hope for everyone, so reach out to me, use my contact form that's on my website. I do check that inbox. So, I'm always open to, or maybe it's not you, maybe it's like if you could talk to maybe my son or my daughter, that they're, maybe just not as motivated or don't know what they want to do. Like, I love talking to the young ones.
Yes.
Like, of course I can help, I think, people of all ages, but I don't feel as if it's like, he doesn't have time. I am someone that's very intentional about making time, because I know what God gives me it's not my story and it's not my experiences to hold on to. It's to spread to his other children. So I'm here to help at any moment.
Absolutely. So if you're a college, if you're a business, if you're whatever, if you're in the industry or if you're not in the industry and you're looking for a motivational speaker, I would definitely say this is a person that you want speaking to your students, speaking to your staff, motivating, and kind of just bringing his joy about all things to your masses. So check him out on that, like he said.
MC host, like I
MC
do it all.
host. Listen, he does it all.
Fundraisers,
all of it.
Stuff, nonprofits. Yes.
I'm telling you, he lights up a room. He lights up. I mean, you're not seeing him, but I'm seeing him. And, he just brings this sense of calm and this sense of joy. So if you want that, I mean, definitely check him out.
I still get booked for shows in St. Louis, like nonprofit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't work there anymore. They'll probably get somebody else who's on TV. I'm actually headed to St. Louis in August because I'm still doing the event that I've
You're their
been
person.
For the last 5 years.
Yeah. They need you. They need you. So again, go to his website and get in touch with him. I shot him an email and here he is. And this is probably one of the best episodes. And I can't wait to hear more about what is to come. But I want to thank you all for listening to the All in My Head podcast. Thanks for listening again and have the best and most beautiful day.